Hello and welcome to the British Judo Championships 2015. My name's Jamieson and we're right here in the English Institute of Sport in Sheffield for what's going to be a thrilling weekend of competition. Coming up on the show, you'll see all the highlights of both the juniors and the seniors as they're all vying for British titles. So without further ado, let's take a look at what's coming up on the show. It was an incredible weekend of judo, and in the next 25 minutes we've got results, action and reaction from all the divisions: the women's juniors, the men's juniors, the women's seniors and the men's seniors. Well, on that evidence, what a show we've got coming up for you. Now, if you are new to judo and you'd like to know a little bit more about the sport, then fear not, we've got everything that you need to know. Just take a look at this. Judo is an unarmed combat sport that has its roots in 18th century Japan. It's physically demanding, but also mentally taxing, as technique and tactics often triumph over brute strength. The two players are called judoka and wear traditional judo attire called judogi. The players compete on an 8 metre by 8 metre mat for 4 minutes, or 5 minutes in the men's seniors, until there is a winner. There are several weight categories that allow for more even contests. There are 8 divisions in the junior competition and 7 in the seniors. Scores are awarded in varying degrees for throws, holding techniques, or strangling moves, with judoka seeking the coveted ippon, which scores 100 points and ends the contest. There are 2 other methods of scoring, called wazari and yuko, which are lower scores, 10 for a wazari and 1 for a yuko. There are 4 ways to win via ippon: throwing your opponent largely on their back with considerable force and speed, holding down your opponent for 20 seconds, or forcing your opponent to tap out due to holding techniques such as arm locks. The 4th way to score an ippon is to score 2 wazari. To score a wazari, you need to throw or hold down your opponent, but less successfully, lacking criteria in a throw, or holding your opponent down for 15 seconds but not 20 seconds. The yuko score is a further, lower continuation of this idea. There are penalties for a range of offences that can lead to disqualification. Penalty scores are called shido, and collecting 4 will award the fight to your opponent. If the scores in shido total are level at the end of time, the contest moves into golden score. The first player to score a point wins. Alternatively, the first player to concede a penalty loses the contest. There is no time limit to golden score. The championships are in a round-robin pool format. In the case of more than one pool, athletes will qualify into the next round, which will continue in the pool arrangement, and the player with the most points at the end of the competition will be crowned the champion. So now you know everything you need to know about the sport of judo, and we're all weighed in. It's high time we take a look at some action. It's time for the juniors. Here's all the highlights. Our first action comes from the junior women, and our first division in focus is the under 44 kilograms. Amy Platten was strong throughout, winning that fight via submission, but it was Olivia Piacotta, aggressive from the get-go and undefeated throughout both rounds of the competition, who took the gold, with Platten settling for silver. The under 48 division is next up, and with plenty of fighters, there were 3 rounds of this competition. Making her way strongly through the first 2 rounds was top seed Molly Harvey, but in round 3 it was extremely close, and little did these 2 know at the time, but they were to finish the top 2, Harvey taking gold and Yasmin Gordon silver. On to the under 52s we go, and the pre-tournament favourite in this one was Chelsea Giles, in white here, and the Coventry judoka made a strong start, sailing through round 1. The second and third seeds were in the other pool, with Bradley Stokes' Steph Walker and East Yorkshire Judo Academy's Molly Story both heading into round 2 as well. Chelsea's teammate Yasmin Javadian was the other round 2 participant, getting the better of Molly Story, and that left Steph Walker and Chelsea Giles to go for gold. And at the end of another close contest, ultimately it was the number 1 seed who took the top spot. After she'd received her medal, I caught up with Chelsea to talk about her victory. Alright, so Chelsea second last year, 1 better this year, that must feel pretty good.
Yeah, I felt a bit under pressure. Obviously, I went to Worlds and I got a 5th, so a bit of pressure coming into it, but yeah, I'm really happy.
Yeah, you spoke about that pressure, obviously doing so well last year, winning the seniors and appearing at the Worlds this year. People were looking at you thinking, there's our gold medal winner, and you lived up to that expectation. That must have been really difficult.
Yeah, the final was a bit close. I think I left it a bit too close to the end, and 20 seconds, but I pulled it off in the end.
And second in the juniors last year, then went on to win the seniors. Yeah. Do you feel like you've got the seniors cracked again this year?
I've hurt my elbow, but hopefully I'll be fine tomorrow. Yeah.
And has this given you a lot of confidence heading into it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be similar people tomorrow, so I think I can perform as well tomorrow.
Well, congratulations once again.
Thank you.
There you go, nice and easy. Heading into the under 57s, and the top seed in this one was Renzoku's Jodie Kalla, and she navigated the first 2 rounds safely. With 4 pools for round 1, there was plenty of competition for the top spots to advance through, but it was indeed Kalla who won all 8 of her fights throughout the day, who ended up on top of the podium. Next up is another division with 3 rounds, the under 63 kilograms. Eilish Walker from Just Judo was seeded second in this competition and made it through to round 3, where she met Pinewood's Olivia Spellman to fight for second place. The gold, however, wasn't going anywhere else but around Priska Awiti's neck, as the Enfield judoka was undefeated throughout the competition, courtesy of throws like these that helped her finish on top of the pile. After she'd collected her gold medal, I had a chance to speak to the champ. Alright, so Priska, British Junior Champion, you must have really enjoyed today.
Yeah, it was really good. I fought really well and I knew what I was doing when I came out on all my fights, so it all paid off in the end.
And it must give you a lot of confidence heading into tomorrow with the seniors, of course.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. There's some harder players tomorrow as well, so looking forward to seeing how I do against them, so it should be a good day.
And your brother Josh competed today in the juniors, Phil's going in the seniors tomorrow as well, your other brother. It must be quite special having the whole family here to kind of support you along and compete together.
Yeah, he fought really well up until the last fight. He let himself down a bit, but it does help having them all here, and you're always trying to impress each other in that, so it's good. Yeah.
What was it like growing up in that household?
It's quite hectic. Yeah, everyone's always trying to win everything. So we also have my little brother who won a bronze medal last weekend in the cadets. So it's good. Yeah.
A judo family through and through. Congratulations once again.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Plenty threw their hat into the ring for the gold in the under 70 kilos division, and with strength like this, Leanne Hanlon from Westcroft was in with a chance. Shelley Ludford was seeded third and sailed through to round 3 courtesy of holds like this one, but then the Osaka judoka was on the receiving end of one, courtesy of Kelly Peterson, and it was the hardy Spicer 83 player who ended up taking home the gold. On to the penultimate division we go, and the 3 players in the under 78 served up a very close contest. This fight in the end going the distance between Ellen Lloyd and Jade Waugh, with Lloyd taking the win. Rachel Tytler, though, here in white, came into the competition as number 1 seed and won both of her fights, meaning the pro judo player claimed the top prize. The final category in the women's juniors was the over 78s, and after beating her Redbridge teammate Kelly Wright in this fight, Charlotte Newbold in blue knew a win over top seed Michelle Boyle from Esprit would see her have an excellent chance of picking up the gold. It wasn't to be though, as Michelle Boyle finished the day on top of the podium. Into the junior men's competition we go then, and first up was the under 55 division, with second seed Shogun Kaimura from Ealing showing exactly why he had that billing, going all the way to round 3. Ashton Wally also joined him after picking up several wins on his way through the competition to finish second, while top seed Henry Wakes couldn't quite break through Kaimura's defences here and would have to settle for third as the Ealing judoka took the gold. Up next was the men's under 60s, and with 3 rounds to navigate, the fighters were going to be busy. That didn't stop David Ferguson putting in a typically aggressive performance throughout though, and the pro judo player made it all the way to the final fight of the day undefeated. So too did top seed Peter Miles, but the Bradley Stoke player needed golden score to beat Ferguson and make it 8 wins on the spin to take gold. If you thought that category had a lot to do, then spare a thought for the under 66 kilo division with 4 rounds to get to the medals. The players had 10 fights to navigate to go all the way, and second seed Alexander Short fancied his chances, making it all the way to round 4 undefeated. Despite a loss in the final pool, it was enough for the Edinburgh Club judoka to take the top prize, narrowly ahead of Abdurrahman Shatouf in second place. It was another packed field in the under-73s division, with players' endurance being put to the ultimate test. After 3 rounds, it was Bradley Stokes' James Hayes, seen here in white, Glossop's Eric Ham, who was top seed, Stroud's Jacob Lovell-Hewitt, and second seed Daniel Powell battling it out for the medals. And for Wolverhampton judoka Powell, he could leave the match satisfied, undefeated, as he claimed the gold. Moving on up into the under 81 kilo division, and plenty of action throughout as a perfect arm lock is executed here. Check out this throw though from third seed Oscar to Domenico. The player from Jadel advanced all the way through to round 3, but he couldn't quite topple Harry Lovell-Hewitt, Aidan Donald and Stuart McWatt quite as easily. For the Geary judoka McWatt, here in white, he justified his number 1 seed status by taking home the gold medal. For the under 90 kilo division, it was a very open competition, with only one of the top 3 seeds making the final 4. One of those taking advantage was 6th seed Thomas Lucas, and the Greenhouse EB Phoenix judoka made it all the way to round 3, alongside the man who beat him here in round 2, Dale Imrie, James Reed and top seed Jamal Petgrave. And it was the Westcroft player Petgrave, here in white, who prevailed, the only man undefeated deservedly seizing the gold. Into the penultimate division for the men now, and the under 100 kilos provided great entertainment. Top seed in this one was Esprit's Caelan Calder, here in white, who safely navigated his way to round 2 but ran into difficulty, and his name was Rhys Thompson. The Enfield judoka and second seed, perfectly proving that with the heavier divisions, the bigger you are, the harder you fall, as he beat Yashin Sifi here with aplomb, securing himself a gold medal. And to round off the juniors section, it's the men's over 100 kilos division, with defending champion Valentino Valente starring early on Saturday morning, winning both fights impressively in a combined 70 seconds. And impressive is the word when he describes 17-year-old Wesley Greenidge. The Enfield judoka showcased his phenomenal power here, swatting aside James Pentland. With 2 victories apiece, Valente and Greenidge met in the final fight of the pool, with the Scot Valente eventually shading it with a penalty to take the gold, and I caught up with him after the ceremony. Alright, so Valentino, junior British champion, that must feel pretty special.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's my 3rd year in a row now that I've won it, so yeah, it's always good to win another one.
And the final must have been a real challenge for you. Wesley's a big guy. What challenges did that produce?
Well, I was giving away 35 kilos, so yeah, it's pretty hard, but I just had enough faith in myself, and I've beaten him before and I knew I could beat him again. Just a bit savvy around my grips and just played to my game plan, and it worked.
You must feel with a lot of confidence heading into the senior competition tomorrow.
Yeah, well, last year I got bronze at senior, so hopefully I'll go a couple better this year, but yeah, it's always good to get a result on the back before you go on, so yeah, it's been really good.
And it's coming towards the end of 2015 now. How do you reflect on the year? You've had a couple of injuries, I know, but it's been a pretty good one overall, would you say?
Yeah, it's been not bad. A couple of Junior European Cup results, won a couple of tournaments in Britain, so it's been good, and I'm not long back from a trip to Japan, which was really good. So yeah, I can't really complain too much about my year apart from the injuries, but yeah, looking forward to next year.
So here I am sat in the only place where you're going to get a better view than you're getting right now, the judges' table. And if I had to judge the action that's been on the show so far on the Saturday, the juniors have been a 10 out of 10. What a way to start the competition. Can the seniors follow in their footsteps? Let's find out. Once again, we kick off the highlights with the women's under 48 kilo division, and junior champ Olivia Piacotta in blue didn't quite have it all her own way this time around, as Helen Forbes turned the screw. Tonbridge judoka Molly Harvey in white was also in the final reckoning, in part due to that win, but the standout performer was without doubt Kinnaquai's Kimberly Rennicks, again in white, as the top seed remained undefeated throughout all 5 of her fights, and she made her way to the top of the podium to claim a deserved gold. Into the under 52 division we go, and looking to make it a gold clean sweep for the weekend was defending champion Chelsea Giles. Standing in the way though was some fierce competition. Not least from top seed Julia Scardone, here in white, but also from the fighter she pipped to gold in the juniors, Steph Walker in blue, who again had her sights primed on the podium. Gendros judoka Jade Lewis was also in the reckoning, but Chelsea Giles did indeed make it a clean sweep, retaining her senior crown and adding to her junior title from the day before. Up next was the under 57 kilo division, under the watchful eyes of the coaches as well as the crowd. And it was an intriguing start to the day as junior champion second seed Jodie Calla here in white struggled to get going, losing out in this one to Laure Fournier. Meanwhile here in blue, unseeded Becky Livesey from SKK was making a name for herself with some fantastic aggression and power. As we headed toward the end of the competition, it was the Camberley judoka Laure Fournier who ultimately had the decisive edge, and she took home the gold medal. There was just one pool in the under 63 division, but that didn't mean there was any shortage of excitement, as the 5 fighters put on a show. First up here is Just Judo's Eilish Walker, here in the white judogi, taking on Verity Stevens from Team Red Star. 4th seed Stevens would open her account for the day with a narrow victory, and little did she know it at the time, but her next fight would determine the medals, as she took on 2nd seed Lucy Renshaw. The SKK judoka grabbed a win, and both fighters remained undefeated from there on out, both earning their medals. It's the turn of the under 70 kilos division now, and we start the highlights off with a couple of expert ippons as a result of a holds. First from Kelly Peterson, and then from Katie Jemima Yeats Brown, both of whom made the final round. Also in the mix were Rachel Hawkes and Megan Fletcher, and it was Megan who took the win, but only just. Alright then, so Megan, congratulations, British champion, how do you feel?
I think probably the first one is relieved because the final was a little bit close called. Left it like to the last 5 seconds, which wasn't intentional, but Jemima's a very good athlete and it was a tough fight for both of us, so I was definitely glad to win it, and it kind of rounds the year off. I kind of come into the tournament expecting to myself to win, which is high pressure, but I'm glad I got the job done, and now it's end of the year, end of 2015.
Yeah, talk me through that final, because you've had a really good day up until the final, then it went, as you say, down the last 5 seconds of Yuko to win it with literally seconds to spare. Were you ever doubting yourself at any point?
I think you can't really doubt yourself at that point. No matter how long's left on the clock, you have to believe that you can still win the fight. And the thing was, just before that, I had got another Yuko, but they waved it off. So there was only like 19 seconds. They wiped my Yuko off, and I was like, oh God. So then luckily I managed to get another one, like literally on the last 5 seconds, I think it was. So, but Jemima's a very good athlete, and one of the juniors coming up from last year, so she's now seniors. So it's always a close fight, and glad to win.
It caps off a really good end to the year for you. You've had a couple of really good successes recently. Tell me a little bit about that. How pleased you are to end 2015 on a high?
I think I'm really happy to end on a high because the start of the year for me really wasn't very good. Kind of got to mid-June and kind of around the European time, and my performances really weren't good enough, and especially within Olympic qualification, obviously that's a massive disappointment for any athlete, but it's really hard when I'm currently chasing someone as well. So I think now to end the year I'm still in pretty much the same position I was. I'm still behind Sally, but I feel much happier in myself and much happier in my judo, and there's some good wins along the way, so I'm ending the year happy.
We now move on to the penultimate division in the women's competition, the under 78 kilos. Both Sally and Rachel Moon of Wolverhampton were unsurprisingly strong, but maybe a touch more surprising was 6th seed Emma Reed, seen here in the blue judogi, who not only made the final round courtesy of holds like that, but she was targeting the medals. After a close fight with top seed Sally Moon, the Redbridge judoka did just that, taking home the gold. Finally, in the women's competition, it's the over 78 kilos division. 2nd seed Lois Brown, in blue here, was hotly tipped in this one, and the Grimsby judoka made it all the way through to the end. But the real story in this competition came in the shape of Michelle Boyle. The player from Esprit won a junior gold less than 24 hours earlier and was seeded 4th in the seniors, but the Scot was terrific throughout, when she eventually claimed the gold medal, beating Lois Brown in the final fight, and look what it meant. Now we move on to the men's half of the competition, starting with the under 60 kilo division. Looking to emulate Michelle Boyle in claiming the junior-senior double was Peter Miles, and the Bradley Stoke judoka, who was seeded 1st in this competition, lived up to that billing, winning 6 out of 6 and claiming another gold medal in the process. Not a bad weekend's work from the youngster. The next division, the under 66 kilos, was hugely entertaining, not least because of the openness of the competition. Not one of the judoka in the final round was seeded. Tamar Judo Centre's Lewis Keeble looked to take advantage alongside Greg Berry, Sam Hall and Liam Ashton Farr, but courtesy of this beautifully executed arm lock, it was to be Keeble who would claim gold. In the under-73 division, it was extremely difficult to pick a winner before the competition, and the tournament played out like it too. James Hayes and Connor Ireland battled for bronze, while Aaron Turner was narrowly defeated in the final fight as Patrick Dawson claimed the British title. I spoke to him after the ceremony. Okay, so Patrick, British champion, that must feel pretty special.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time coming. I've fought the British a lot, many years now, and I've not managed to win it yet. So it's a good feeling.
Yeah, in a really tough division, the 73 category. Is it? I guess it's been a pretty long day for you.
Yeah, it's been a long day. Lots of fights. There was big pools to start with, so it was 5 fights even to get out the first pool. So it was a long day. It's a good feeling at the end of it.
Yeah, and talk to me a little bit about your final against Aaron. You have to do anything different in that to kind of get over him. It's essentially a gold medal match in the end.
Yeah, I know Aaron quite well. Aaron knows me. He's only just moved up from 66s, so it was always going to be an interesting fight, a bit of a test. And he's a good player. He's got World Cup medals at 66s, so he's a good player. And a little bit unknown, but just a tight fight. And then I knew the opportunity was there to catch him on the ground. So that's in the end how I managed to win the fight. So.
And talk to me a little bit about your aims for next year. 2015 almost over, a great way to end it. But how do you want to take this form into 2016?
Well, at the moment I've got a little bit of work to do. I'm trying to qualify for the Rio Games, but there's a couple of boys that have got points as well, so a lot of competitions abroad, a lot of training abroad, and not too much food and whatnot over Christmas. So.
Into the under-81 division we go then, and Geary Stewart McWatt was looking to make it a junior-senior double, and he gave it a very good go too, winning 5 out of his 6 fights. His one loss though came against this man, Seb Green in blue, a judoka from the University of Wolverhampton. Green was in aggressive, impressive form throughout, and despite losing one, still managed to pick up the gold and the British title. Next up is the under 90 kilos division, and top seed Gary Hall was in a hurry, with his longest of 4 first round fights lasting just 46 seconds, courtesy of his locks and throws. The question was if anyone could match the front runner, and Hardy Spicer 83's George Smith wasn't too far away from doing so, but even he succumbed in the end to Hall's talents, and the man from Team Bath claimed a deserved gold. To the penultimate event of the competition then, the men's under 100 kilos. Adam Hall of Team Bath and Enfield's Rhys Thompson were battling away for medal positions, but the man who was just too strong for them both was Thompson's teammate Phil Awiti Alcaraz as he claimed gold. Here's what he had to say. Alright, so Phil, congratulations, British champion. That's not a bad Christmas present by all accounts.
Yeah, early Christmas present, so I had a good day in that, so come out on top, happy with the result, can't ask for much more.
Yeah, talk to me about your day. You had a really tough day, obviously, as it's a tough sport, but you got through to the final and then won it in the end. Talk to me a little bit how you managed that.
I mean, yeah, there was a few good competitors in my weight today, and then I had a tough final fight with Adam Hall as well, and I was just lucky enough to come out top and stuck to the game plan. Right.
Yeah, it's been an alright affair for your family this weekend. Obviously Prisco winning the junior goal yesterday as well. Is it nice having your family all around you when you're at these competitions?
Yeah, it is. It's a bit more motivation as well, because I don't sound silly and that, but we're always competing to see who can do better and that, and it's come from quite a competitive family, so yeah, it's nice to see her winning as well.
Talk to me a little bit about your 2015, coming towards the end of the year now. Do you look back at 2015 with positive memories?
Yeah, definitely. I pulled 2 of my best results so far this year, so I think I've had a good year.
Plenty to come in 2016?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'll try my best. Hopefully I can get the results I need and that, and see where it takes me.
Into the final competition of the show we go, and it's the men's over 100 kilos. Junior champ Valentino Vellante was again in contention, but Hardy Spicer 83's James Austin was looking strong. Andrew Melbourne meanwhile managed to topple Wesley Greenidge, but number 1 seed Melbourne was eventually outdone by the efforts of Austin, who took the final gold of the day to round off a wonderful weekend of competition. So that'll just about do us here in Sheffield for the British Judo Championships 2015. What a weekend we've seen across both days from both the juniors and the seniors here on the mats. It's been absolutely thrilling action, I'm sure you'll all agree. To keep up with the sport of judo, just head to britishjudo.org.uk for all you need to know about the sport and all the upcoming events across the British Judo calendar. From everyone here in Sheffield though, it's goodbye.